Well, that does it. I'm done being a Jets fan. Just moments ago, the New York Jets lost their 14th game of the season. For those of you keeping score at home, that's now 159 losses since our last playoff game. The last time I saw the Jets in the playoffs, I was in 3rd grade.
I am taking the bar exam in July.
How have I done this my entire life? How did I fall for this? Well, it all started when I first got into football and I fell in love with this star quarterback at USC named Mark Sanchez. Look at that. When I learned he was going to the NFL, I decided I was going to follow him. And 2009, he led him to the AFC Championship. And next year, 2010, they do it again. The Jets would have gone to the Super Bowl had that game not been entirely rigged for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thank God I hopped on the bandwagon at the right time. And boy, I can't wait for 2011.
Oh wait, I can.
You know what? 2011, we're 8-5. I think we're going back to the AFC Championship again. Victor Cruz, 99-yard touchdown. No big deal. We're 8-7 going into week 18. All we gotta do is win this last game and we're in. We're playing the 5-10 Dolphins. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Everything can go wrong. Our best player gets benched mid-game for calling out our offensive line. Our team is visibly fighting in the huddle. And shocker, we missed the playoffs. You know what? I could live with that. One bad season. We're coming off back-to-back AFC championships. 2012, that's our year. Clearly, it's vital to the team that we bring in a locker room guy. I mean, we had all these problems last season. Who else should we bring in?
Did someone say Tebow time?
Because bringing in more mediocrity has never been a problem for a quarterback room before. Especially one as divided as the New York Jets. I can't even begin to put into words how awful 2012 was. But thankfully, the New York Jets gave us the perfect metaphor for the entire season in the most infamous play of all time. Mark Sanchez runs into his lineman's ass and fumbles the football.
And the Jets respond by starting Greg McElroy.
You know what? Whatever. It's all behind us. Every team collapses after a deep playoff run. I can live with a rebuild year. We'll draft a kid. We'll let him learn behind Mark Sanchez. Everything will be okay. In true New York Jets fashion, we put in our quarterback in a preseason game and he gets hurt. We put in our starting quarterback behind our notoriously awful offensive line's backups, not even our offensive line, our backups to the worst offensive line in football. And someone get Nancy Drew on the case, because guess what happens? Sanchez goes down and now we gotta start Geno Smith. And you know how I know the Jets have desensitized me? I don't remember the season being that bad. I went back and I was like, dude, we went 8-8. We couldn't have been that bad that season. Geno had 29 turnovers that season and was statistically the worst passer in the league. And that's what I call decent football. But you know what? We got to deal with some adversity. It's all about how you bounce back. In 2014, somehow it gets even worse. And do you know what the Jets' response was to this? Let's bring in a 40-year-old felon. But get this, the 40-year-old felon was somehow better than Geno Smith. Thank God we wasted a second-round pick on this kid for him to be worse than a player coming out of jail. Thank God we spent this premier second-round pick getting ourselves a guy who was worse than a washed version of a guy who was in jail a decade ago. Okay, you know, we fire Rex Ryan, we fire John Idzik. It's all better now, right? For some reason, this year just feels different. I mean, there's something about 2015 that just screams it's different. And just when the Jets decide that they need to go with Geno Smith, Geno gets socked in the face by his own teammate, and now we get to start Ryan Fitzpatrick. So now we're starting a guy that our team deemed the backup of the worst quarterback in the league the year prior. But get this, the Jets start winning. Something about Eric Decker, Brandon Marshall, Chris Ivory, Quincy Enunwa, something about this team's different. Are the Jets back? Well, you know what? We gotta go play in the 12-2 Patriots. I've seen this film before. I know the ending. The Jets are losing this one. Season's over. Might as well chalk this one. But we take a lead. And then we take it into the fourth quarter. Never mind, Tom Brady, their winning drive, throws a touchdown to James White, they tie the game up. We already know the coin toss is gonna be rigged for the Patriots. The NFL loves them. But in the least Jets fashion ever, Quincy Enunwa saved the franchise. And Eric Decker catches the overtime winner. Oh my God, the Jets are back! We're 10-5. All we need to do is go beat the 7-8 Bills. Those guys suck. I mean, they already beat us earlier in the season, but this is our get back. This is poetry. This is how the Jets come back to glory. This is 5 years in the making, this moment right now. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick throws the ball to the wrong team. Not once, not twice, but thrice. But you know what? With the game on the line, he delivers an absolute dime to Kimbrel Tompkins right when we need it.
And he drops the football.
The New York Jets won 10 football games and missed the playoffs. And our last game was lost to the guy we had just fired. You know what? Unlucky. We're one of 4 teams ever to miss the playoffs with 10 wins. If we get 10 wins again next season, we got this in the bag. We're back in the playoffs. We go on a run just like we did in 2009. Everything's all good. And to think we did all that in our head coach's first season. Come on, dude. We go crazy in the draft, we draft some young studs, we pick up another premier quarterback. This one's gotta work, right? He gets to go sit behind a man that just put on a Pro Bowl season in New York. He gets to learn from a Harvard man. Surely this is our guy. I literally can't put into words how awful 2016 was. Ryan Fitzpatrick legit had a game where he threw the ball to the wrong team like 7 times. Like, I literally started rooting for the other team to break the record just so I could see something important happen in a football game. I mentioned the stud draft picks. Do you want to know who those stud draft picks are? I bet you're dying to know right now. Darren Lee and Christian Hackenberg. The only player in NFL history to get drafted in the first 2 rounds and never play a snap of football. And then we start losing our players again. Brandon Marshall goes, I don't blame him. And it's 2017. Hooray, we get a new quarterback. Hold on. 2017, would it make sense here that we put in the quarterback that we just drafted? Should we give him a shot? The best the Jets could do was a 38-year-old Josh McCown. Okay, I see what we're doing here. We're tanking for that 2018 first overall draft pick. We can't even tank properly. We win 5 football games that season. And somehow the most fun I had watching all season was watching a 38-year-old Josh McWheels run behind our atrocious offensive line. But don't worry, we're bringing in another quarterback. We're going to draft him with our first pick this year. Forget Christian Hackenberg. That guy was the worst football player I've ever seen in my life. But we're bringing in another USC guy, my boy Sam Darnold. And did you watch that week 1 game against the Lions? Sam Darnold led us to a 40-point victory over the Lions on Monday Night Football. The Jets are so back, is what you would think if you didn't watch any other game that season. Again, we have no redeeming qualities. Our quarterback is running for his life because for some reason we neglected to actually pick up any offensive lineman, and it's clear there's no vision for this offense moving forward. So you know what? We fire our coach again. Todd Bowles, you're the problem. See ya, buddy. Because there's so many exciting new coaches in this cycle, the Jets need to land a big one right now, and this will turn around the entire franchise. I don't even care about the last decade at this point. We have officially entered a rebuild year after a year where we were rebuilding. That totally makes sense. Most teams do that. And somehow, despite the Jets being at rock bottom, they decide to bring in Adam Gase. I'm going to try to put this as nicely as possible. The worst head coach of all time. It is unfathomable to me how the New York Jets watched Adam Gase in Miami and they were like, we need that. You know what? Adam Gase led one of the best passing offenses of all time. I'm willing to see what he can do with Sam Darnold, right? Except Sam Darnold misses the first 3 weeks with kissing disease. Sam Darnold out indefinitely, mononucleosis. Are you literally kidding me right now? How are we a real franchise? You know what? I'm actually going to defend Sam Darnold here. Sam Darnold wins 7 football games this season despite his head coach being Adam Gase. If that's not the most impressive feat in NFL history, I don't know what is. 7-9. We're moving up. We're making the playoffs next year, right? We lose 13 straight games to start the season. You know what? If there ever was a year to tank, this is it. Trevor Lawrence is in this draft. This is a generational quarterback prospect. I have no qualms about us just throwing things out the window. We're bringing Trevor Lawrence home to New York. All we have to do is lose to the 10-4 Rams and the 9-5 Browns. What could possibly go wrong? Everything could go wrong. Our punter literally comes with the most miraculous diving shoestring tackle you've ever seen in your life, and somehow the Jets beat the Rams. Literally the first time in his life the punter has ever tackled anybody, and it gets us to 2-14, and we lose the first overall pick. Whatever. Second best quarterback in the draft. That's good sometimes. We finally fired Adam Gase. Things are looking up again. We drafted Zach Wilson. Our offense, again, is the worst in the league. Somehow you'd think even by accident over the last 8 years, our offense would get out of the 30s. But we go 4-13, and my goodness, was that an ugly 4-13. At some point, the Jets literally just decided to throw Mike White into the mix just to see what would happen. You know what? For some reason, there was something different about this team. He added Garrett Wilson. We're adding Sauce Gardner. We're adding Breece Hall. This is a good football team. Are the Jets sleepers? We start the season 6-3. We just took down the Bills at home. Holla at ya, boy. Coming out of this bye week, we're going to be nasty. We just got to win 4 more games and we're in the playoffs. It's about this point in the season that Zach Wilson forgets how to play football. We lose. And we lose. And we lose. And we lose. And Rob Saleh says, you know what might work? Let's put in Mike White. And we lose. And so Rob Saleh says, maybe we should put in Chris Streveler. We finished that season 7-10. From 6-3 to 7-10. Are you literally kidding me? Next season, the market is wide open. There's a new quarterback on the market. Freshly announced, Aaron Rodgers. That's a Super Bowl champion. The New York Jets, we're all in. This defense is nasty. All we needed was one quarterback. We're one quarterback away from competing. I am so excited for this season. I turn on Monday Night Football on my television. New York Jets, Buffalo Bills. I watch Aaron Rodgers run out onto that field with the American flag. This is just a different team. You could just feel it. And then I watch Aaron Rodgers collapse to the MetLife turf. Oh my God. Literally all this hope leading up to this moment. We were a quarterback away. We got our quarterback, and 4 plays in, we're back where we were 1 year ago. But you know what? The Jets still win. The Jets just beat the Bills on Monday Night Football. And on Sunday night, October 1st, I watched Zachary Capona Wilson outperform Patrick Mahomes on Sunday Night Football in front of Donna Kelsey. And then Zach becomes the first quarterback in our franchise history to beat the Eagles. Is all Zach Wilson needed some mentorship from Aaron Rodgers? Well, I guess not, because at some point we decided it's time to put Trevor Siemian and Tim Boyle out there. We finished 7-10, baby. J-E-T-S, Jets. You know what? The next year we get Aaron Rodgers for real. This is seriously our year. Last year, it was pretty apparent that our quarterback situation was questionable, but we're getting Aaron Rodgers back. Zach's gone. Forget about that. And after week 3, we just beat the Patriots. We're 2-1. We might actually be back. You know what? Don't even pretend to get your hopes up. I mean, we finished 5-12 again, even with Aaron Rodgers. Literally, we just lose games. But you know what? 2025. I can't even pretend like I was excited for a second. From the start of the season, I had zero hope for the season. There's part of me that just doesn't give up. I watched Justin Fields carve the Steelers. Yeah, that lasted for a whole week. The Bills stomped us next week. We started 0-7. You know what? That's fine. Fernando Mendoza is going to be nasty. We're going to turn our franchise around. We're going to go over. We're the worst team in the league by far. No one's even competing with us to be the worst team in the league. And they win. Right when it was looking promising. They win a game. And now after we just had Brady Cook quarterbacking our franchise. No offense, by the way, Brady Cook, I'm sure you're lovely. Once again, get the 2nd overall pick. We somehow don't get an interception all season. In a whole season. They barely even knew forward passes existed in the 30s, but somehow those teams all ended with interceptions. The New York Football Jets played an entire season in 2025 and never once, even by accident, by happenstance, by a deflected pass, by the quarterback sneezing, they didn't intercept the football once the entire season. How? How is that even possible? And guess what? My franchise quarterback is the 1 seed in the NFC. My franchise quarterback just won 14 games in a season. I now have to watch my franchise quarterback win games for a team he was never even supposed to be on. I no longer feel joy watching football. I don't even look forward to the games anymore. I just endure them. And I can officially say this is it for me. I am no longer a Jets fan. For this season, because the season's over, but let me tell you, we're getting that 2nd overall pick. Dante Moore is turning this franchise around. I'm done being called delusional. This is the Jets' year. Why not us? Jets, Jets.